Now, Jamie, when you think about what the Hawks have done, in these last 21 games with Quin Snyder, they've been pretty much middle of the road team still, as they've been built, constructed to be coming into the season. But one of the things that I've always kind of wondered, or I thought was very interesting, was the fact that Quin Snyder decided to come in right now. Literally, dude was on vacation, out of the country, and he said, "You know what? I want to take over right now." And I didn't necessarily question it, but I thought it was kind of interesting that he wanted to get in right now. Now that I look back at that matchup between the Heat and the Hawks, now I'm at a space where I understand, because we've seen just the little nuggets of things that have changed a little bit. But now this team, they're going to fall back into who they are, because that's just who they are. And it's going to take some time to get out of break those habits that they have sometimes defensively. But the improvement that I've seen from guys like Jalen Johnson, also AJ Griffin, Sadiq Bey, those guys have benefited tremendously since Quin Snyder has come in and take over as a coach. And I think now I'm starting to really understand why Quin Snyder said, "You know what, family, y'all stay on here on vacation. I'm about to go here and go coach this team."
Well, I mean, clearly he loves coaching, because
no doubt, absolutely,
on vacation and wanting to do this, especially in the back half of the year, not kind of certain that this team would even get into the playoffs. You're taking a large bet on yourself, but
absolutely.
In conjunction, he has the contract that has security, so it's not like he's worried about getting fired. The team's not gonna fall off a cliff, things of that nature. But I tell you what, man, when you look at the way this squad is built, and just look at some of the things that you heard about Nate before he left, when you talk about Nate McMillan, good coach, but not necessarily a coach that can coach young players. All those players you just mentioned are improving. I've seen Jalen Johnson up close when he was at College Park, and you can see the potential. So now that he's on a big squad, you see him start to flourish, and you're getting what you thought you would get when he came from Duke. And so now, when you come in and I don't know if you would call Quin Snyder a player's coach, but that's kind of what that's building into. You've never heard much about, players not liking him and things of that nature. And so just that breath of fresh air when it comes with Quin Snyder, along with his concepts. He's a good coach, especially on the offensive end. He can get them to play defense and just get them to buy in just a little bit, because let's keep it frank. Miami beat up on the Hawks all year, literally physically beat them up. And
Hands
so
down.
when you see them come the way they did with some outside shooting and passing and things of that nature, just the new voice, the new scheme, things of that nature, hey, man, Quin Snyder's already paying dividends, and hopefully they can continue going into this next round.
And you know what? That's one of the things that I thought was very interesting, because, a lot of times when people say players coach, they think that, he's the coach being all buddy and all that stuff. But I think that one thing that get lost in the sauce now, so to speak, when it comes to these players of today's game, these guys want to be coached. They want to be taught. And if you aren't doing that, then that's when you start to see some of the guys being disgruntled and all that stuff, because they see, man, I've always been a proponent. I always say on this show, when T and I are having conversations about certain athletes and how they deal with coaches, like, athletes see through people, man. Like, they are people's people. You know what I mean? Like, they can look at you and have a conversation with you, and they can understand, like, if you bull crapping them or not. Especially when you talking about a coach, because they are with this guy a lot. Sometimes even more than their family when you're talking about going through an 82-game season. So, like, these guys understand, and that's why I think. And I'm not saying that the whole Trey Young and Nate McMillan relationship, but I want to use it to kind of make my point. When Nate McMillan was trying to reach out to Trey, it seems like they were making some headway, but when it comes to the game and actual games, and then you see them on the sidelines and Trey not even paying attention really to what Nate McMillan is saying. But look at it now. I don't know if you noticed, but look at how when Trey comes to the sidelines, Quin Snyder is up out his seat, hand around his waist, like, yeah, do this, do this, and I'm not saying that, those are some of the things that you have to take a look at when you're talking about the differences, right? I'm not saying that, Nick Miller is a bad coach. All I'm saying is that when you talk about a player's coach, like a player's coach is a guy that can teach. You know what I mean? That's my definition of what a player's coach is, because those guys, if you tell them something and they go out and do it and it works for them, like you got a fan for life. You know what I mean? That's how it works, because these guys are out here playing for contracts. They're playing to try to win. These guys want to do that. I always err on the side of players wanting to be better and wanting to get better. And when you have a guy like Quin Snyder, we're seeing those things right now, and these guys are getting better. Even the ancillary players, and we're seeing Trey starting to kind of buy into the whole defensive thing and moving the basketball and playing off the ball. Like, you got to give credit to what credit's due.
Oh, absolutely, man. And even kind of piggybacking off your players coach comment, I agree 100%. But not even just the teaching part, the communication part. Like, if you're able to just talk, if I can use those words to reach you,
man,
you can be using you can be talking the same definitions, but using different terminology to be able to reach. I mean, it's that psychological part of the coach-player relationship that I think Quin has early on, it's
kind of mastered.
Yeah,
I say that.
Kind of mastered. So absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that these are some. That's why I'm very interested to see how this series plays out. I think at the end of the day, Boston's going to win, but I am interested to see what the adjustments are like, and how Quin Snyder handles certain things that he may notice that may be a weakness for them as they go up against try to go through this 7-game series against one of the better teams in NBA. I just kind of put it like that. But speaking of being better and trying to move on from life, this Freaknik documentary about to get ready to drop, right? And there are a lot of people who are concerned and worried. But I got some stories that I would like to tell.
You are a native Atlantean.
Right. Yes. We will talk about those stories. But first, I want to say just a quick thank you to all of our everydayers. Those are the people who listen to this show each and every day. And I know you're right there. I see your names. I see you commenting and everything like that. And to make sure to give people FOMO, here's what I want you to do. Drop in those comments right there. Comments right down there. Everydayer. That's all you got to do. Drop everydayer right there in that comment box to let everybody know that you are part of the crew and you are rolling with us each and every day, and we appreciate you guys. And if you're not rolling with us every day, what the hell are you waiting on?